Very early in life, we understand the importance of routines. It's taught to you because your mother is very comfortable with a routine. You must get hungry at breakfast, and then hungry again at lunch, and then hungry for dinner. Right? So just to make her life convenient, we get put on these little patterns. And it sort of gets set in stone once you start going to school, because time for this, time for that. We live by linear time. And everything works according to the watch. So by the time you're 15, you should be in high school, you should have done a bunch of APs. By the time you're 21, you should have graduated with honors, studied either medicine, it's medicine, law, engineering with Indian families. I'm not sure what it's with other families. These are the only three permissible options, right? So you've got to do one of these three, and then by the time you're 25 or 26, you should be married, with a rich husband, a station wagon, dog, house in the suburbs, whatever, right? With certain things that have to be done at certain points in your life. And there's no room for maneuvering. There's no room for anything else, because it's like you put, blinkers on a horse, and it can only go in one direction. It can only go straight. It does not know what options are there on this side or the other. And all of us are kind of like that. Kind of like that. Because the road has been well trod. Well treaded, trodden. Trodden. We know that it's a good path, right? Everyone's done it before. It's going to work out. You're going to reach. You're going to reach where you have to reach. Because what is success? Success is a lot of money. It's a lot of money. It doesn't matter if you've lost your soul in the journey. Success is all about money in this world. Just had a interesting conversation with someone today about, the kind of upbringing that you give to your child. You bring your child and expose them to a lot of the temptations of life. Like nowadays, we didn't have that when we were in college, but nowadays they have these frat houses. And I've seen enough Netflix movies to get an idea of what a frat house means. And so when I discovered a close friend was, and I'm sure she's not watching, she doesn't watch my videos, so I'm confidently saying this. So when I discovered a close friend just dropped her son off in a frat house, it kind of filled me with a little bit of anxiety. I'm like, why would you willingly put a child through into a place where it's, these things are known. What they do in frat houses is known. And even if they're good children, it's exposure, right? It's what you're seeing. It's like watching murder movies morning to night. If you watch murder movies for long enough, you lose the connection, and you will be able to murder with ease because it happens so easily in the movie. Right? It desensitizes you. And this was some of the tricks that people used, when they trained them for warfare, so that when they become prisoners of war, they don't break down. So they get desensitized to killing. Similarly, all of us get desensitized to life, to things around us, because of what we expose ourselves to. The well-trodden path is good, but these are temptations that make you lose your soul. And yes, you might be successful in the workplace. You might be completely successful, but money without soul, I'll take the other any day. I'll take the other any day. I would rather arrive at the point in time where I can say very happily, I changed my ways. I touched myself. I did for others. I lived my life with a smile on my face. I cared. I cared about people and things around me. Because the money you're going to leave behind, the money is going to be left behind. That is never a consideration. Do I want money? Yes, enough to live. Enough to live. Do I want success? Sure, if it comes my way. But do I want to lose my soul chasing after success? No. So, how are my actions guided all the time? My actions are guided, and this is personal, is how it makes me feel inside. I don't like to do things that make me feel unhappy. I don't like to use bad language. I don't like to hate anybody. I don't like to feel the negativity. I don't like to be in a critical mood. I don't like to complain about life. I don't like to be in a situation where there is a feeling of just being black. I didn't follow the trodden path. I didn't do either engineering, medicine, or law. My dad tried to make me do economics. I couldn't make head or tail. I couldn't make any sense of it. And now when I look back, I wish I had just done psychology or English or something that was so much more my nature. Because success is one thing, and doing what feels right is something totally different. And if I had to tell you what to pick, you have to go inward. You have to go inward for any major decision that you take. It's got to feel good. It's got to be the right choice. And that comes with everything. When you vote for your country, you go inside. Make the right decision. Something that feels right for you. When you make a choice about what to eat, you look at that food and say, does it spark joy? Who is that? Who says that? Mary. Right. Does it spark joy? Does this make you happy, what you're eating? Are you eating consciously? Or is it just something that's being shoveled into your mouth? Because if you eat consciously, you'll be very careful about what you put in. You'll pick and choose what goes into your body. You'll want to know where it came from, how it was grown. You'll make very conscious and deliberate choices. For many of us, taste overrides it all, just like success overrides soul. Your senses also override everything. It doesn't matter what you do, you have to live by certain rules that are right for you. And I cannot tell you what to do. I can make suggestions. Right? You have your own path. You have your own... You've come here from a great distance, many lives, many experiences, many people in your life that have influenced you. I am just one other. So you may not take all of my suggestions, but it might just go and stick somewhere in your head, and it might influence how you live, because you want to live life effortlessly. And anything that is a tremendous effort, you don't need. When you're going against the current, against everything, you know that that decision is not a good one. Sometimes when you're going against the current, you still feel this is the right path. You still have to go inward. Because if you give up too early, it may not work out in your life. So this is so subjective. It is so subjective. No one can take that decision for you. No one can tell you where you should go. And I always tell you this, when I started meditating, everybody believed in my family that I had only my mom, my daughter and my husband. These were my supporters. Everyone else in my family thought I was had no business doing this. No business doing this. I didn't deserve to be here. But, meditation or spiritual enlightenment at whatever stage it is, I'm not saying I'm as enlightened as any one of you. But I have reached a certain point in my life. When it comes, it just comes. It doesn't matter what you've done. It doesn't matter whether you've even been a thief or a killer, because one of our great sages from our, Vishwamitra was supposed to have been a thief. He was a thief all his life, and then when the enlightenment came, it came. Nobody talked about how can a thief become enlightened. Thieves do become enlightened, because when it comes, it comes. Similarly, when you're making a choice about your life, about your partner, about your job, about the country you're going to live in, no one either deserves to live in India or deserves to live in America. When the desire to move to this country, when it comes, it comes. You don't have to be any particular sort of person to deserve anything. These life situations open up. They open up and it feels right and you do it. You go with it. If something has occurred to you, and I talk about my personal experience because I can't talk for others, that you want to write, say, it occurred to you to become a writer, or it's occurred to you to become a school teacher, or it's occurred to you to become, there's a reason it occurred. And there's a reason that you follow through. And as you're doing it, something inside you feels satisfied, feels complete, feels whole. That's your guide. That's your guide. Because, if you're sitting and praying for answers and hoping that God will give an epiphany and come and stand in front of you and say, my child, this is the road you need to take, is not going to happen, all right? It doesn't happen in that way. But when you're connected, it happens with a feeling of comfort. It happens with an idea germinating. It happens with some path opening up for you. Somebody seeing your name somewhere, a sudden rise to fame, a sudden opening of doorways, suddenly meeting someone. It happens in different ways, and you've got to be intuitive enough or sensitive enough to recognize it when it comes. We spend most of our life asleep, fast asleep, unconscious. I, me, myself, my ego, I don't know the difference between I, me and myself. Most of us think that we are the body, and we're so busy living our entire life satisfying the body. And Sarvapriyananda always asks the question, tell me one thing, are you aware of your hand? And I'll ask you the same question. Are you aware of your hand? Yes or no? You're aware of your hand? Yes. Is your hand aware of you?
No, probably not.
So if you are the pure awareness, knowing that life is happening around you, why are we so stuck in the outer dimension of life? Why are we stuck on success, on taste, on experience, on all of these things that add nothing more, but take little by little, deplete your soul. They take away from you each time, each experience, each controversy. Each time that you get something more, it takes something from your soul. To remain true, to remain natural and connected requires tremendous self-effort. Because this world is full of temptation. Full of temptation. Everywhere you go. Oh, they like to say that it was only Eve that was tempted. I want to say the atoms of this world are equally tempted. If not more.
Well, he was.
Yeah. It's not just one person or one part of society. It's all of us. All of us. We live, and as we live, we deplete our soul each time. We're not connected. And if you look around you at this world, you know, everything has changed so much. The family that used to be your pension plan used to be your family. In medical insurance used to be your family. You know, your supermarket, your home, everything was the family. Your bankers was the family. Your support system, everything was the family. Now, what's happened? They've replaced the family with hundreds of soulless agencies. Hospitals, banks, credit cards, phones, comfort, therapists, medical offices. So many soulless connections that we've made to replace the one connection that gives you everything, the extended family, you know, that used to exist long. Many negatives, but many positives too. People had soul, people had connection with nature, doing what's right, you know. Becomes much more difficult now to make the right decision. No one can take it for you. No one can take it for you. And even after you've taken a decision, choose it. Choose it. Whatever you decide. And make it work. Put your heart and your soul into it. Make it work. And don't let anybody tell you who you are. Don't let anyone tell you. No one knows. No one has a right to call your names. No one has a right to tell you what's good for you, what's right for you. And the more people you ask, the less likely you are to do anything. My favorite joke. Have I ever told you this one? Fresh fish sold here. Oh, I have, I'm sure. So there was this man who wanted to start a store, and he was a fisherman, and he wanted to keep his fish there, and he wanted to put a board, and the board said fresh fish sold here. He was writing it out. So a man comes up to him and says, "We are not really selling stale fish. So, you know, why put fresh fish? It's quite, you know, it's obvious that it's going to be fresh. So put fish sold here." So he's erased it, put fish sold here, changed the board and everything. Another guy comes and says, "Well, you're not selling it there. Why put it here? You know, so just write fish sold." So he changed everything, removed it, put fish sold. And then the guy says, "Hell, this is a marketplace. It's quite obvious that you're selling fish. You've got so many fish out there. It's quite so don't put the word sold, just write fish. You know, it's clear." And the other guy comes and says, "Why put fish? You can smell it a mile away." So he's left with nothing. So don't let your life become a fresh fish sold here scenario. Everyone giving their 2 paise bits telling you how to live your life, what choice to make, do this, don't do that, oh my God, don't do this, do that. Do what's right for you. You know. You don't need anyone to endorse you. You don't need anyone. Sure, you need people to support you. And your spiritual family, if they love you and care for you, they will support you. They will. Your blood family, let them be. Don't bother about them. Because in all likelihood, they won't support you. That's okay. They just might. Some people are fortunate that their blood family is there also, their spiritual family. That's truly a blessing, where your blood family does for you. But if they don't, search for your spiritual family. They're the ones that will take you on the right path, support all your ventures, tell you how to open it up, tell you what to do, lead you down the, hold your hand as you walk through that journey. And at the end, like I said, if it doesn't work out, just take a pillow and go to sleep.